Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at equations and inequalities, linear equations. Now this time we are asked to draw the following pairs of graphs. We are also asked to use one set of axes for each pair. Now the first question with respect to the instruction is asking us to construct the following graph of y is equals to 2x plus 5 and y is equals to negative 3. Now before one dwells into this application, it's very important to actually carry out some calculations with regards to constructing graphs on this Cartesian plane. So what we need to do is to simply write or rewrite the problem, which is y is equals to 2x plus 5. Now in this case what we want to get is to get x to be 0, in other words to be able to find the intercept of y. So y is equals to 2, so in this case just simply make x 0 plus 5. So you notice that 2 multiplied by 0 gives us 0, and then all you remain with is just simply 5. So what this tells us is that when x is equals to 0, y is just simply 5. Okay, furthermore, with calculations, so you have y is equals to 2x plus 5. So this time I want to make y 0. So we have y as 0 is equals to 2x plus 5. So substitution, we have 0 minus 5, because we have 2x plus 5 and positive 5. If it moves over the equal sign, it becomes negative 5. So all you remain with is 2x. So when we divide both sides by 2, negative divided by positive gives us negative. So we have 2, 5 is equals to x, because 2 cancels with 2, remaining with x. So what this means, it means that when when y is equals to 0, x is equals to negative 2, 5, or 2.5. Okay, let me just rewrite this properly. So when x is equals to negative 2, 5, in fact it's very important to start rather with the substitute. So in this case y was our substitute, so when y is equals to 0, x is equals to negative 2.5, negative 2, 5. So what we need to do is to take these coordinates, this is a set of coordinates there, and that, those coordinates there. So but before that, we need to still look at y is equals to negative 3. So y is equals to negative 3 in this case. We just simply have y is equals to negative 3. So as you can see now, we don't actually have any variable in terms of x, so y is equals to simply negative 3. So now with construction, we simply now take our instrument, a ruler in this case. So we need to identify when x is equals to 0 and y is equals to 5. In other words, when x is equals to 0, notice here we have our origin. So x is equals to 0 and y is also equals to 0. That's our origin here. So when x is equals to 0, y is 5, so that's the point there. And this is, that addresses that. And then when x is equals to negative 2, 5, negative 2, 5 or 2.5 is the halfway between negative 2 and negative 3. And then y is equals to 0. So what you need to do now is to simply join these points on the Cartesian plane by means of a line, by means of a line in this fashion. So what it means now, is that this line is y, or addresses the fact that y is equals to 2x plus 5. And then we need to have the one that answers that. So we have y is equals to -3. So y is simply -3 here at this point here. So y is equals to simply -3 at this point. Okay. Now we are done with our first question. So let's look at the next question in this case. So our next question now is to address the question of drawing this on a Cartesian plane with the pair of graphs. So in this case, for B now, we are given y is equals to -x plus 5, and y is equals to simply 1, and it's positive. So we first need to start calculating the problem. So in this case, y is equals to -x plus 5. Okay, so in this case, we also want to make x 0 in this case. So you're going to have y is equals to -0 plus 5. So y is just simply 5. So we can clearly see that when x is equals to 0, y is just simply +5. Okay, and then moving forward is to actually now make y 0 to find the value of x. So y is equals to -x plus 5. So when y is equals to 0, let's see what happens. So we have -x plus 5. So substitution, 0 is a constant, so is +5, and +5 moves over the equal sign, becomes -5. And all you remain with is -x. Now notice we have -x in this case, which is not something that we want in mathematics. So we want to actually have our variable to be positive. So what we need to do is just to simply divide by -1 on both sides. So in this case, I just simply divide by -1. So divided by -1 divided by -1. So negative divided by negative is as positive. So x in this case will just simply be 5. So therefore, when y is equals to 0, start with the substitute. In this case, we substituted y to be 0 in this case there, and then the output becomes, in fact, x now becomes, if y is equals to 0, x becomes just simply +5. So to draw our Cartesian plane, to draw our graph on this Cartesian plane, so what we're going to need to do is just to simply take these coordinates, these ones here. These coordinates and that. Okay. And in fact, it will be viable also to look at y is equals to -1. So y is just simply equals to -1. So there we don't have any gradient. So we just have y is equals to y. That's the y-intercept. So technically now we need to plot that, the sets of those lines on the Cartesian plane. So in this case, when x is equals to 0, x is equals to 0, y is equals to 5. So when x equals to 0, y is equals to 5. That's the point there. And then that addresses those coordinates there. And then when x is equals to 5, y is equals to 0. When x is equals to 5, y is equals to 0. That's the point there on the Cartesian plane along the x-axis. So what you need to do is just to simply join our line there, and then that line essentially represents y is equals to negative x plus 5. And then we need to have another line that represents y is equals to 1. So y is equals to 1 is just simply here. So that line is actually just simply a parallel line with respect to our x-axis. So y is equals to 1. So that is purely because we don't have any gradient in this case. The gradient is just simply 0, hence y is just simply 1. Okay, so we have addressed the second question. So let's look at the third set of questions. So now let's look at the third question. Now the third question asks us, it says draw the following pairs of graphs. So this time we're given y is equals to 3x minus 4 and y is equals to negative x. So in this case, similarly, we're going to have to start with our calculations, devising our calculations. So we have y is equals to 3x minus 4. Okay. So y is equals to, so in this case we want to make x 0 again. So we have 3 times 0 by substitute, because we want to find the y-intercept. Y-intercept minus 4. So y, because 3 times 0 is just simply 0, minus 4 is just simply negative 4. So when x is equals to 0, when x is equals to 0, y is just simply negative 4. So let's see what happens when we make y our, when you make y 0. So we have y is equals to 3x minus 4. So y this time is 0. And then we have negative 4 becomes positive 4. When you move over the equal sign, all you remain with is negative. It's just simply positive 3x. So in this case, we divide both sides by 3 because we have a coefficient here. So essentially what we have now here is x is equals to 1 and 1 over 3. That's what we have there. Now, when y is equals to 0, x is just simply 1, 3. And this 3 is actually recurring. 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, and so forth. Now, technically again, we just simply want the sets of coordinates, those coordinates and these coordinates. Now on our graph, what we need to do now is just to simply look for those coordinates. So when x is equals to 0, y is equals to negative 4. So when x equals to 0, y is equals to negative 4. That's the point there. Now when x is equals to, in fact, let's start with the substitute. In this case, when y is equals to 0, x is equals to 1.3. So 1.3 is along this x here. Okay, so when x is equals to 0, y is equals to 0, so we have y is equals to 0, and then x is equals to 1.3. So 1.3 is somewhere there. Then we just simply take our ruler to join those two points on our Cartesian plane. So what we are actually addressing in this case, we are addressing this equation here. Y is equals to 3x minus 4. Okay, and then let's look at the next equation. Similarly on C, so we have y is equals to negative x. So it tells us that the gradient is negative, so it definitely, the graph should actually definitely go this way. It should go, it should do that. Positive graphs tend to move that way, in that direction. So because the gradient is negative, so what we need now is to make x our 0. So in this case, we have y is equals to negative 0. It's just simply 0. So we have y is equals to 0. And similarly, we have when x is equals to 0, y is also 0. And then similarly, when we make y 0 in this case, so we have negative x, so we divide both. Remember, there's a silent 1 here. Algebraically, we have negative 1 there. So in this case, we divide both sides by negative 1 and divide by negative 4. So x in this case is just simply 0. So when y is equals to 0, x is also 0. So our graph should pass through our origin. So in this case, we just simply need to draw a line that passes our origin like that, taking heed of the gradient, because the gradient in this case is just simply negative 1. Very important to consider this gradient here, because it's just simply negative 1. Like I said, on the graph, when you look at the gradient in this case, it's just simply negative 1. Since m is equals to negative 1, the graph will be on a slanting angle from left to right. In other words, this is the graph of y is equals to negative x. Okay. So we have addressed the third question. So let's look at the final question for the day before we call it a wrap. So in this case, we have y is equals to x plus 4 and y is equals to negative x plus 3. So essentially what we need to do here is to write our equation. Start off with the equation first to be able to calculate what the intercepts are in terms of on our Cartesian plane. So we have y is equals to x plus 4. So we have y is equals to, so x in this case is just simply 0 plus 4. So y is equals to 4. So when x is equals to 0, y is just simply 4. So let's see what happens when y becomes 0. So when y is equals to 0, we have negative 4 is equals to x. So x is equals to negative 4. So in this case, when y is made 0, or to be 0, in this case, y is just simply negative 4. So again, we take these sets of coordinates. So we take that coordinate and those two coordinates there. So let's actually go ahead and plot those. So when x is equals to 0, y is equals to positive 4. So y is equals to positive 4 and x is equals to 0 here. And then when y is equals to 0, x is equals to negative 4. So that's the intercept there. And then what you need to do is just to simply join the 2 points by means of a line. Okay, so here what we have line that represents y is equals to x plus 4. Okay, so let's look at another set. So in this case, y is equals to negative x plus 3. So we want to make x 0 in this case. So we have negative 0 plus 3. So y is just simply 3. So when x is 0, y is just simply positive 3. And let's see what happens when we make y to be 0. So in this case, y is made to be 0. So we have positive 3. If it moves over, becomes negative 3. It's equals to negative x. Okay, because notice now we have negative on both sides. So what we need to do is just to simply divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1 on either side. So negative divided by negative gives us positive. So negative divided by negative 3 divided by negative 3 gives us positive 3. So when x, let's rather start with the substitute. When y is equals to 0, x is equals to simply 3. So we take these sets here of coordinates. So take that and that. It's very important to consider having 0 as x as 0 and then have a constant as y. And then again, alternatively, you should have y to be 0 and x to be a variable. So in this case, when x is equals to 0, in this case, let's look at x. When x is equals to 0, it's on the origin, and then when y is equals to 3. So we have this point here. When x is equals to 0, y is equals to 3. And when x is equals to 3, y is equals to 0. So we have that point intercepting these 2 points here on the Cartesian plane. So what we need to do is just to simply join those 2 points by means of a line. So we join those 2 points by means of a line on the Cartesian plane. So essentially what we have, this line represents y is equals to negative x plus 3. And then that brings us to the end of our presentation and slide. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that you get to address certain points and ask questions where necessary. Thank you for watching. Take care. Practice mathematics. Goodbye.